How are you doing? It's Martin from Gardens for Life. In this video I'm going to show you the Woodchip Island 2 years after it was made. And this is now its third growing season and we're halfway through. So to make this garden we simply smothered the grass 2 years ago, and we put down a layer of about 6 inches of compost, which was actually mushroom compost, which was only slightly aged, and then we took some pure Lilandi wood chips. As it happens, that's what the local arborist had, and we simply put them on, about 6 inches worth again, and the wood chips are actually breaking down now, and they're basically being decomposed by the soil life and are now providing food and minerals to the plants, and also giving a great habitat for the insect life and the soil life as well, because the wood chips of course are protecting the soil from cold temperatures in the winter time, and extremely hot temperatures are even preventing the soil from actually drying out in the summer. Even if we had no rain for about 2 or 3 weeks, the plants here are absolutely fine. No need to water them ever again. Maybe just at the very beginning, just to get them established for the first month or two, but after that I wouldn't bother watering them at all. I'll try to do the tour in only less than 10 minutes, but there's an awful lot to see, so just hang in there. So this is what the Woodchip Island looks like in year 2, or after 2 years I should say, the third growing season of it now. And you can see that the perennials are slowly but surely starting to fill the gaps. And you can see here the good old Cambridge favourite, strawberry, is already running. Great stuff. We find the likes of course, comfrey is a really good ground cover for around fruit trees. This is a plum tree, I believe, by the looks of it. Oh, actually no, never mind, that's an apple tree. And we have another fruit tree here with some comfrey underneath, and some sorrel, which we actually have enough of in the field. Next, so sometimes we do have to do a bit of weeding here. You can see raspberries do really well here, and strawberries too. This is Snow White, the variety of strawberry. There's a musk mallow and some buddleia, very good for the insects. Loads of currants. This is a Florida elder. This is actually an elderberry tree from Florida. And we have the horseradish here too, and a rhubarb plant. Look at the size of the rhubarb plant after only 2 years it's been planted here. And we have some valerian here, these pink and white flowers. And of course the almighty marshmallow plant. We have some of them around. They're medicinal but also can be used to make actual marshmallows out of. We have some perennial flowers gone in. But you can see it is more or less starting to fill in when you take a look, because we have not been using this Woodchip Island, or the space between the perennials I should say, for annuals. There is still a few volunteer oca popping up here and there, you can see them. But that's okay, we don't mind them growing here. And we have some special varieties of sea buckthorn. You can see this is actually a male, as far as I can tell. I'm still fairly new to sea buckthorn, but I'm very excited about it. We have a few varieties now. Jerusalem artichokes, of course. This is red fusio, red fusao. Some aronia berries too, that are actually suckering. These are the thornless blackberries, and in all their glory we're going to make a trellis finally soon enough now, and we're going to let them grow up and then let them fruit above rather than letting them tip layer. We have some new varieties of gooseberries too. And this is a Polonia tree, which didn't do that well after the minus 10 degree Celsius frost. There's another one over here too. The ones we kept indoors in pots, they did much better. See, this is American elder. Real lovely flowers, very nice flavour, vanilla flavour, or vanilla smell even off it, fragrance, and they flower for the whole growing season. So I don't know how good they are in terms of medicinal value. I don't know if they're anywhere near similar to the European one. These are a new variety of blackcurrant. Oh yeah, we still have a bit of a path going on here. This is our Portuguese kale, which is now 1 year, 1.5 seasons old, I would say, 1.5 years more or less. And still very productive, but you can see it's kind of taken over the patch. So sometimes we chop one of them down just to make room, and yeah, we eat these kind of leaves here. We eat ourselves, and like medium sized or small. And any of the older leaves like these, the yellowish ones, we just give them to the chickens, and they're fine with that. They love kale. And here's some comfrey. This is actually Buchan 14, which doesn't produce seed. Loads of insects and loads of bees here. So this is the actual extension that we built in late August 2019. And this is the original Woodchip Island. And you can see, of course, we have a couple of mint varieties. This is Egyptian mint, or round leaf mint, and iced tea. And these are not spreading ones. All the spreading ones we put at the edges near the paths so that we can kind of control them a bit better. This is actually pineapple mint. Isn't it beautiful? Just as an ornamental plant even, it's nice. But it smells like pineapple. But the flavour is only very delicate, so once you cook it or once you boil it, make tea from it, there's less of a flavour, so you better use a good bit of it. We can see there's a good few of the blackcurrants here too now. Give me a second. Quite a few blackcurrants here. Let me try one. Give that a try. Yeah, it's actually sweet, not sour. You just got to feel them, just check if they're kind of squishy without actually squishing them. Then you can tell if they're ready to go. This is our own variety of strawberry, Birdland, and more Aronia. This is Florence is the name of the variety of strawberry, and there is an oregano bush in between. It's actually going to flower now. We have plenty of Jerusalem artichokes here. This is actually, what's the variety? White truffle is the name of that variety. And these are the Aurora Reuben and some of the Chinese in the background there. We have a pear tree, special variety of pear from the very east of Europe, or even Russia, as far as that. Even the blackcurrants are a really good habitat for insects. So you can see we have new varieties of blueberry this year. 4 new varieties to be precise, 2 of each. Here's some feverfew, which you should definitely plant in your gardens. It's perennial, and it makes for a really nice flower to put into a bouquet or something like that, or a vase. And it's also really good for the insects, and it's actually a preventative for headache, so it's awesome like that. These are actually cornelian cherries and a new variety of white currant. This is Derbyshire. I can't really pronounce it. I don't know how it's even spelled. Derbyshire kale. It's perennial, and we actually got the cutting from Charles Dowding when he was over doing a course in the Growery in Burr in County Offaly. Look at that. We don't do any harm to them. We simply pick them up. Look, there's another one. If there's a few on one leaf, we simply pick up the leaf and just throw it out here. We just throw them out here into the grass. Let them eat something else. So you can see there's loads of strawberries at the moment, and some of them are going mouldy as well because it's kind of damp. It rained. There's a good few. Look at that. You kind of need to eat them before they're, or even pick them before they're actually totally ripe, because otherwise they'll go mouldy or the birds take them. Of course, we don't mind the birds actually taking them because, you know, we love birds here at Birdland Cottage, and as a matter of fact, that was our strategy all along, to actually get the birds to come here, to actually come to our land to feed and also move into our birdhouses, which we have actually put up all around on all the trees around our gardens, because the birds are actually really good for pest control. And if you bring them in by planting plenty of berry bushes, you'll have loads of berries for yourself, more than enough for the birds too. You can actually share them as long as you don't have a massive population of female blackbirds, because blackbirds are an awful devil for taking your fruit. But again, we've got at least 20 or 30 of them at the house, and we're still getting tons of fruit. So this is one of our insect piles. It's simply a brush pile from last winter's brush, which we just simply removed from here and just piled into a pile here, basically, just so we don't have to bring it off too far. And it's actually really quite adding to the productivity of this land, or this area, because it's a hotspot for insects. Of course, they like to eat, they like to live there, and they come out and patrol our plants. I mean, check out how healthy all these plants are. There is absolutely no pest issues here, and we don't consider any animal to be a pest, to be honest, even the slug or the caterpillar, because they're only a pest if you practice monoculture. We basically haven't even noticed slug damage in recent years, since we've gone no dig, and since we're starting all of our plants from a seedling in the greenhouse. Even caterpillars are only a minor inconvenience, because we have a good few birds around, of course, that would take care of them eventually anyway. Not all of them. Sometimes we have to help and actually basically throw the caterpillars, or even a leaf full of caterpillars, out into the garden, or into the field next to the garden, I should say. So you can see the old polycultures work very well. We have red currants, black currant, marshmallow and peppermint actually all growing side by side. And of course, with the understory is always going to be strawberries in a woodchip situation. I think we should probably rename them to woodchip berries, because look, they're doing really well, and they're actually just rooting down into the wood chips, and all the ones below the surface will have gone turned into compost already. And you can see there is basically almost no weeds in this garden. So there is a josta berry, which is our new favourite fruit because of the flavour of it. It tastes like a gooseberry and a blackcurrant mixed together, which is what it is. Sea buckthorn, red Russian kale that has actually literally seeded itself. We planted it here 2 years ago when we started the Woodchip Island, and it now is back from seed that it produced last year. And look how lush it is. We didn't even have to do any work to get these, and we don't mind them even growing here. We can just harvest some and or just leave it there and let it go to seed again next year. Let's see. Once you have it all planted up, that's something called canopy gardening, which is what Michael Pilarski always says. He's a great guy, by the way. You need to look him up on YouTube. Michael Pilarski is the name. More fever few. Loads of currants. Even yarrow is here, of course. Look how big a plant got. That's only two 2-litre pots. And we have some more horseradish. This is actually a Bull on Arc horseradish. That's where we got it from. So that's maybe slightly different from the variety point of view. So we have all around it, the Woodchip Island here, there is actually a path, you can see. And that's just a strip of plastic. And we put wood chips on top just to make it look nice too. We can take away the plastic now because the grasses underneath are actually gone. Oh yeah, I forgot to show you these. Look, we also have wine cap mushrooms popping up everywhere. That's one that's gone a little too far. But we'll probably get another flush of them now since that it rained today. Look at all the strawberries here. Literally hundreds and hundreds of strawberries. Alright, I don't want to keep you too long. Hope you enjoyed the tour. Please ask us questions in the comments below. That'll help our post out and to be seen by more people. And give us a thumbs up if you don't mind, and subscribe. Thanks a million. All the best. Bye bye. Oh my god, Pegasus is back. My favourite variety of strawberry. And it's running, look. It didn't do that well last year because the perennial kales actually stood this high. And the Portuguese kale actually literally was casting a shade on the 10 or 20 plants we had here. And they didn't do too well as a result. Gotta give this a try now. This was the best one out of the 13 varieties of strawberries we actually grew last year. Oh yeah, it's very good. Even though it's not quite 100% ripe, but you better pick them early because they'll only go moldy or this kind of thing can happen. Of course, we don't mind. If you see half-eaten fruit on your plants, whether it's berries or even apples or the likes, or top fruit, just leave them on and the birds will go for those first, and all the other animals too. They will not go for a healthy fruit until there is no half-damaged or half-eaten fruit left. And that was actually a little bit of research that Stefan, I can't pronounce his surname, with the permaculture orchard in Canada. He actually did a bit of research and they tried to do that as a management technique. And as it turns out, to do less is actually to do more. So basically you end up with more produce, good quality produce in terms of fruit production, and you have to do less work trying to pick out all the half-eaten fruits. Well, this one won't be half-eaten though.